Hi, everybody. During this interlude, thought I'll come up here and just talk a little bit about some of the things that took place at Arsenal against Aston Villa this last weekend. Um, so Arsenal plays a really good game, one that most Arsenal fans were not very confident of taking all 3 points at Villa Park because the last two seasons before this one, Arsenal lost both games at Villa Park. And Aston Villa have been strong investors, I would say, in the transfer market in the last two summers or so. And they spent their Jack Grealish money before they sold him, and they spent well on players that are no mugs. However, the outcry and the disgust some people in the media were displaying because Arsenal celebrated a victory at Villa Park um, was just stupid. It's just stupid talk for me. um, Gabi Agbonlahor, who earlier this season, when Steven Gerrard had won a game for them, or soon after he got hired, he was lauding Gerrard for his powerful celebrations and talking about like that's exactly what fans need to see or want to see when they go to games, and that he celebrated the goal like he had won the league, and that's exactly what needs to happen. Now Arsenal go to their patch, win the game, they celebrate with their fans in circumstances where, it was their third game in 6 days. They were probably a little anxious. Who would blame them for that? They were probably a little anxious about their ability to win that game. They go ahead and they win it. And you have the police celebration, celebration police coming out talking crap about, why are you celebrating like you have already gotten the Champions League spot or like you've won the league. It's such ridiculous talk. I don't even think it deserves any more time, but I just wanted to just weigh in on that. I think it's really ridiculous. So let's just say then we don't make it to the top four. Do we just wait till May 22nd to see whether it's okay to celebrate game wins, or it's just, yeah, it doesn't stand against any scrutiny. But for some reason, these people feel the need whenever Arsenal celebrate a victory to talk and talk nonsense. Leeds United were celebrating. All of these teams, they have their own benchmarks and have their own, um, how do I say this? They have their own goals. And so if you are hitting benchmarks along the way, whether you achieve the goal or not, but you need to celebrate where you are. And yeah, I just wanted to talk about that. And then there was another thing that really upset me, and that's around Bukayo Saka. The kid has been incredibly mature and incredibly graceful, in terms of like he gets kicked a lot. You don't see him throwing his body around and complaining all the time. You don't see him even, reacting venomously like we've seen with people like Wilf Zaha, in the past. And now Zaha has an unfair label on him, actually, and now stands as the most fouled player in the Premier League. And people continue to label him to be a prima donna or something not kind, calling him out of his name, basically. Bukayo Saka has been very, very patient and actually too quiet, if you ask me. This is the first time at Villa Park I heard him say this, and I actually even noticed that he stood up and talked to the referee. He wasn't waving cards for people to be sent off. He wasn't running to the referee, um, you know, making gestures and acting like he was victimized. He had a conversation like most players do, have conversations with referees. What is wrong with that? Saying, hey, man, this is how I play. I know it'll invite some challenges. Fair is fair, but I feel like sometimes I'm getting a little targeted. I don't think there's anything wrong with him saying that for himself, if you ask me. I think a lot of the time there's just too much policing of players who are trying to protect themselves. It's their livelihood. Bukayo Saka was not even 10 years old when Arsenal lost a couple of players to nasty injuries. One being Eduardo, another one being Aaron Ramsey. Maybe Saka was close to his 10th birthday when Ramsey happened. And then, of course, Jack Wilshere, who was a tough guy like Gerrard. Jack is not even 30, and Jack is playing in Denmark because he was a tough guy. And for Gerrard to talk about, whether like him having screws um, on his hips and all these like 16 surgeries, operations, whatever he was talking about. Never mind the fact that he himself had spoken up for his players when he felt they were getting kicked when he managed Rangers. As the manager of Rangers, he was the same guy because he was winning there and he was on the upper hand, or he had the upper hand. He was the guy complaining about players getting kicked. And now he is coaching a team that maybe needs to kick some players in order to get themselves in the game or stay in the game. Now he wants to talk about toughen up. You know, this is what happens when you play in the English game, and it's part and parcel. Look, physical tackles and physical challenges are part of the game. We know this, but I don't think people who watch Arsenal every week would think Bukayo Saka is a whinger or a diver or a whiner. I mean, we've seen things happen with this kid. I remember against Crystal Palace at home. I haven't even seen this guy play in a long time. McArthur, I think his name is James McArthur. He literally, the ball was nowhere near his foot that he kicked Bukayo Saka with. And he gave him a proper kick right up his side, the back of his leg. And that actually affected the result, in my opinion. The way Crystal Palace kicked Arsenal around in that game. Now, I know Crystal Palace is a very competitive team and they like to play hard and whatnot. But on that day, I feel like it was open season on Arsenal and especially Bukayo Saka. And he gets targeted every week by opposing players. So, if you ask me, I think the kid was right to stand up for himself. And he did it in a very respectful way, didn't make a big scene, just said his piece and moved on and carried on playing. So it's like you don't want people to stand up for themselves. And who's going to stand up for them? Aston Villa coaches and managers from other clubs? They're not going to do that. So if you ask me, carry on, Saka. Carry on, young blood. Don't listen to anybody talking shit about don't stand up for yourself. Nah, it's a very short career. And Arsenal especially have had several players. I mean, I can go back further to Diaby. We've had several players at this club who stayed silent under some bullshit treatment from opponents and paid a heavy price for it. So, no, man, thank you very much. And I think the problem for Arsenal moving forward is going to be making sure that those senior players continue to stand up for him. Um, I think Bukayo and Martinelli and Emil Smith Rowe and all these other young boys are going to need Granit Xhaka, Thomas Partey, Alexander Lacazette, and the big centre backs, even though they're not too old themselves, to kind of step in whenever people are taking chances because people will take chances, especially with all this media outcry about Saka shouldn't be talking about getting kicked. I don't know what the hell they think he's supposed to do. It's 2022. Everything is evolving. Everything. Technology, the fact that we can all make, YouTube videos and podcasts and things and have our voices heard. But we're telling incredibly gifted footballers, no, don't talk for yourself. Bullshit.